What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Countdown Scouting Network. I'm your host, Joey Garcia, and today we are going to get into our first mock draft of the season, I believe. It's our December mock draft. I feel like this is a really good time to do a mock draft just because college regular season's done. The championship games are over. It's bowl game season. We're going to the college football playoffs. And the majority of these guys have played their last game in college, and we're kind of starting to finalize, where these guys, if these guys are staying or if they're going for another year. So let's go ahead and get into this. This is my second time trying to record it. I guess my computer froze up, but here we go. So let's start off very simple with the number one overall pick. It's the Chicago Bears via the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers traded DJ Moore and Caleb Williams for Bryce Young, and whoever the ninth overall pick was. I don't remember who they ended up getting with their other pick. It was a tackle. Can't remember which tackle, but that's okay. So Carolina got a tackle, their number one quarterback, and DJ Moore, all for Bryce Young. So great pick by them. Arizona Cardinals, I could have gone quarterback here. I think I also could have gone defense here, but I think Kyler Murray's doing a really good job. And I can't pass up on this offensive tackle, Olu Fashanu, who's my favorite tackle. Could have also went Marvin Harrison Jr. and got them a wide receiver as well. That's probably a good pick too, but I just want to go Olu Fashanu, get some help on that offensive line. I think they're going to want to build the trenches, both offense and defensive line. Going to the Patriots. The Patriots have gone. I don't know if Bill Belichick will keep his job. But if he does, I still think they're getting Drake May. And if he doesn't, new guy's going to come in, new GM, new coach. They're going to want their own guy. It's going to be Drake May anyway. So if they are here at 3, Drake May is definitely the pick unless someone trades up to 2. Back on the clock at number 4 with the Chicago Bears, I ended up going Marvin Harrison Jr. I know they have DJ Moore. I know they have a couple other wide receivers. But if you can make DJ Moore your wide receiver 2 and get a generational talent in Marvin Harrison Jr., why would you not do that? Especially when you got a young quarterback that you want to build around. You could go with offensive line, but I just think getting another stud, a guy who we all think is probably going to be a Hall of Famer when it's all said and done, and he's only 19 years old, 20 years old, something like that. Let's get Marvin Harrison Jr. and help out your young quarterback. At number 5, Washington is on the clock. Again, they're probably going to have a new coach in there. Maybe he wants to go and get his own quarterback. If that's the case, maybe it's Bo Nix. Maybe it's one of these other guys, J.J. McCarthy, Jaden Daniels. I think Sam Howell's played well enough that if a Drake May and Caleb Williams are not on the clock and they're not, if they're not there for you to pick, I don't think they get them. Let's go ahead and secure that offensive line because that offensive line has been so bad for Sam Howell. So we'll go with Joe Alt, good left tackle from Notre Dame. Going with the New York Giants, you could go quarterback here. I thought about it. I really did. And it could be, again, this is another spot for quarterback. I ended up getting a good pass rusher. I think Daniel Jones is serviceable for one more year. They need to figure out the offensive line and the defensive line to help out Daniel Jones. Let's go ahead and get them the best pass rusher with the best pass rush plan. Again, Latu might not be taken this early because his medicals. He had to medically retire. And so there's some teams that might take him off the board because the doctor can't clear him. I don't see the medicals right now. I'm not a doctor, so I'm going to just take that out for right now in this mock draft, and I'm going to put him at 6. All right, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield, you did an admirable job, but it's Bo Nix time. Bo Nix resurged his career in Oregon, and he deserves a top 10 pick, so I'm putting him in right here as QB3. Going with the New York Jets, you still have Aaron Rodgers. I think Zach Wilson's probably done there as well, so you don't have a backup quarterback, but Aaron Rodgers would hate if you took a quarterback in the first round. That's how he is. That's what happened with him in Green Bay when they took Jordan Love. So let's go ahead and get him an offensive line so he doesn't tear his Achilles again. You have Mekhi Becton, who's looking good at left tackle. You got Elijah Vera Tucker. You can slide him back into guard because I think he's a lot better guard. And let's get a right tackle in Fuaga from Oregon State. Going to number 9, you got Jerzon Newton for the Los Angeles Chargers. This is an elite elite defensive line player. He's explosive. He's a game wrecker in the rush and passing game. And let's add another defensive star really for the Los Angeles Chargers. They got their quarterback. Let's help them out on defense. Maybe you could go with another weapon, but it's just so early. You took Quentin Johnston last year. You still have Josh Palmer and Mike Williams and all those guys. And Keenan Allen is still there. So let's help him out by getting the defense to be able to make some stops. Now let's go to the Tennessee Titans. They took Will Levis in the second round. I still don't think he looks great, but he's showing flashes. Let's not give up on that. Let's go ahead and help him out by getting him another weapon. The offensive line, they've invested a lot in, hasn't really panned out. They got some old guys on defense. But again, Malik Neighbors is a top 10 pick. He's the number 2 wide receiver on my board. I like him a lot. He's a great separator, explosive playmaker. Let's go ahead and get an explosive playmaker for Will Levis. Going at number 11, you've got the Los Angeles Raiders? The Las Vegas Raiders. You got the Las Vegas Raiders. This is another spot for quarterback, possibly. I went ahead and just got them best player on the board, Nate Wiggins. Great corner from Clemson. Can't really complain about that pick, especially someone that needs DB help. Now at number 12, we got the New Orleans Saints. I took J.C. Latham here, another tackle. It was between him and Amarius Mims. I ended up taking Latham. I think he's got a higher ceiling. I think he can also slide inside. Amarius Mims is a little too big. I think he's probably tackle only. So I took J.C. Latham here. And then with the Green Bay Packers, that's where Amarius Mims went. So I just put them 1 and 2 at 12 and 13. Again, another athletic tackle from Georgia. I didn't really like his summer tape. I thought he was kind of all over the place, undisciplined. He's really been more consistent this year, and so I'm very impressed with that. I don't know if he goes this high. I really don't think he goes this high, but I was impressed enough with him. I want to put him up here because when he tests this offseason and his pro day and stuff, he's going to start shooting up boards. This dude is a freak. So I wanted to put him up here so we can all look back and say, oh, remember whenever Joey had him in the top 15 and everyone else had him at like 18 or at 28, 27, around that spot. With number 14, the Los Angeles Rams come in here, and they just need studs really everywhere. They are a team that sold for a Super Bowl, and good for them. They ended up getting their Super Bowl. And now let's go ahead and reload. So you get Jared Verse in here, the edge rusher from Florida, and he is a beast. He's all about football. He ended up putting on some weight this year, so he wasn't as explosive. I think maybe he just needs to tune it back a little bit. I want him to still have that strength that he has right now because he put on some muscle, and he's got some strength. He's just not as explosive as he was when he was a little bit lighter last year. So maybe cut back just a little bit and kind of find that in between. I think he will. I think he knows how to do it right, and I think he's going to be a stud at the next level. That is my favorite pass rusher. I know Latu is my number 1, but I just love Jared Verse, man. I love watching his tape. Bengals here at number 15. Let's go ahead and get them another offensive weapon. When Joe Burrow was at LSU, he loved Thaddeus Moss, his tight end. Let's get him a great tight end. Probably a top 3 tight end of the last 5 years, top 3 tight end prospect of the last 5 years in Brock Bowers. Do-it-all tight end. Yeah, you could go ahead and get him a tackle. Go ahead and get him interior offensive line because the Bengals kind of need that. I don't see a guy that's worth the 15th overall pick. So I ended up going best player available, someone that can help the team right now. And Brock Bowers is a stud, so I hope no one's mad about that pick. Number 16, this is Gabe Davis's replacement, in case anyone's not aware. I know Buffalo Bills fans will be all over this, and I think they'll probably think this is a good pick. Get Keon Coleman, the jump ball, contested catch, physical wide receiver from Florida State. He's basically Gabe Davis, except without drop issues. Number 17, we got the Arizona Cardinals on the clock. Again, for number 2, the first pick, they got Olu Fashanu, the tackle out of Penn State, left tackle. Let's go back to Penn State. Let's get Chop Robinson, a freak athlete at the edge position. He's got to I don't really know how to say it. He's got explosiveness. He's got all the traits. He just needs to kind of figure out how to use all that to his benefit. He's kind of all over the place whenever he's out there. But he's a freak of nature, and again, if you can get a defensive line coach that really helps him, or a veteran that can teach him how to use these moves, he's going to be very, very good. Number 18, we got the Denver Broncos. They go ahead and get themselves a quarterback. Russell Wilson's looking okay. He's kind of resurrected his career over the last few games. He's still not it. He really isn't. You probably have him for one more year, and then you can finally get rid of him, but that's not the guy. Let's get J.J. McCarthy, a guy that has all the tools. He can sit behind Russell Wilson for a year because he still has to learn a couple things, but he's got traits, and he'll make throws. He'll zip it in between guys. He's got elite arm talent, and it's almost like he doesn't want to do the risky throws right now. And in the NFL, you got to do some of those risky throws. Those windows are tighter. He doesn't like throwing into those tight windows. He's going to have to learn, hey, those are open. So let him sit for 1 year behind Russell Wilson. Let let the coach that was at New Orleans, Sean Payton, let him kind of teach him a little bit, get him ready, and then in a year from now, let him start. It was between him and Jaden Daniels. I thought J.J. McCarthy kind of fit what Sean Payton liked better. That's why I had him at Denver. But the Atlanta Falcons and Arthur Smith, if Arthur Smith's still there, they want someone that's mobile, that can be a threat in the run, as well as have a cannon of an arm. So that's why I picked Jaden Daniels, who's my Heisman favorite from LSU, at number 19 with the Atlanta Falcons. Sorry, Desmond Ridder. Number 20, we got the Indianapolis Colts, who's feisty. They're a feisty team right now without their starting quarterback. They ended up getting Anthony Richardson, so we're good there. I ended up going with Kool-Aid McKinstry, cornerback from Alabama. He's got all the tools. He hasn't had a great year this year. A lot of people are liking Josh Newton better. A lot of people are even saying Kalen King a little bit more, or his running mate Terrion Arnold, who are all in the first round on this mock draft, just a little bit further down. I picked a traitsy player. I think that they'll go for the traits a little bit more. That's why I have him there. But any cornerback here is going to be fantastic. Going at pick number 21, we've got the Minnesota Vikings. I ended up getting them the heir apparent, someone who looks so good in purple, Michael Penix Jr., the quarterback from Washington. I really like this kid. He's really done a lot. The thing I will say is I'm nervous about his knees. He's been healthy the last 2 years, and so maybe it's not a concern. Maybe he's learned, when to. He kind of hasn't been running a lot, and he's a guy who at Indiana he was fairly mobile. He hasn't really done all that at Washington, which is good for him. He's learning how to be a pocket passer, but I want to see him use his legs a little bit more. Going back to back with Washington guys here, we got number 22. The Seattle Seahawks on the clock. Braylon Trice, the edge rusher from Washington. This is a big edge rusher, a big, powerful, with a little bit of pass rush move to him. He's kind of one of those Seattle guys. When you think about Seattle, traitsy, strong defensive lineman, that's kind of where he is on that. Going to the Steelers. So last year, they got Joey Porter Jr. in the second round. He's looking really good right now. Let's go ahead and get him a running mate in Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean can play the slot. He can play outside. He can play a little bit of safety. People keep wanting to say that he's safety just because I think he's white. He's white or he's light-skinned, one of the two. No, dude, he's just a white corner. They're starting to come back around, I think. And he's a good corner. He plays inside and outside. Very versatile guy. He's a stud. He deserves the first round pick here. Does he deserve to be all the way up here at 23? That's debatable. There are other corners like Josh Newton or Terrion Arnold that could go before him, but I'm a big Cooper DeJean fan. Number 24 from Cleveland, we have the Houston Texans. So they go ahead and they get their first pick on here, and it is another edge rusher. You've got Will Anderson Jr. You have the dude from Florida. I'm blanking on the name. John Grenard as the other one. Could you imagine if John Grenard is just a rotational piece? You have Dallas Turner, a really, really athletic, rangy defensive end who played on the other side of Will Anderson Jr. last year, and now they get to play with each other again. I just love the storyline behind it, and I think it's a great pick anyway. So going with the Dolphins, how could you draft for the Dolphins and not have a tackle? This is Graham Barton, the left tackle from Duke. Again, they have Teron Armstead, but he's always injured. This is a guy that can replace him. Worst case, he is a swing tackle for you, but I think he can definitely take his spot on the line, and you can save yourself some cap. So that's my pick for them. Number 26, we got the Dallas Cowboys. I went cornerback here. You got a good cornerback in Diggs. Let's go ahead and get Terrion Arnold to be the number 2 to him. I know you have Bland in there as a safety who's looking really – I think he plays safety, who's looking really well. He's doing pick sixes. I think he's just tied the NFL record for pick sixes in a season with like 6 of them. That is crazy. And then with the Detroit Lions, another corner comes off the board. Josh Newton from TCU. This dude is really just a straight outside corner, and he'll come down and hit you. He's physical at the line of scrimmage, and he's just a Dan Campbell type of corner. When you talk about eating kneecaps, that's him right there. Now, going to number 28, a guy who grew up in Florida, went to Miami, Florida. Cameron Kitchens, the safety, stays in Florida, goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is a safety who ended up going down halfway through the season. I haven't kept up on his tape before that, but his tape at the beginning of the season was lights out. He's flying all over the back end. He's coming in and hitting. He looked really, really good. This is my number 2 safety. I like Tyler Nubin just a little bit better, but I wanted to keep him in Florida, so that's what I did. At number 29, Kansas City. Let's get them a real wide receiver. I thought about Rome Odunze here. You can see Rome Odunze is not in my first round mock. It's kind of a mistake. He's a first round wide receiver. I just kind of was going crazy with defensive players. Edge rusher, corner, edge rusher, safety, corner. So he ended up not getting in here. This is probably a Rome Odunze spot, but I am a big Emeka Egbuka fan. He's a true wide receiver 1 if Marvin Harrison Jr. wasn't on his team. Kansas City needs a wide receiver 1. Yes, they have Rashee Rice, who's looking pretty decent. This is a guy that's a better route runner than Rashee Rice. He's more of the underneath stuff. Let Rashee Rice do his intermediate to deep stuff. Let's get Emeka Egbuka to the Kansas City Chiefs from Ohio State. Number 30, San Fran. They're looking for long corners. Kalen King is that. Kalen King from Penn State. He's a long, bigger corner. He kind of fits the mold that San Francisco looks for. I think they need corner help, so I ended up getting him Kalen King. At 31, we have the Baltimore Ravens. Thought about going defensive line here, but I felt like you got Zay Flowers. You got Lamar Jackson looking good. Could go running back. Didn't think it was a good spot for running back. I think running back will be a round 2, round 3 type thing for them, or maybe they just look out in free agency for it. And I'm like, let's go ahead and get them a Deebo Samuel type. And everyone says Deebo Samuel. And I say that because he's just so shifty, but he's more like A.J. Brown than Deebo Samuel. I'd compare him more to A.J. Brown. He's a big 6'2", 6'3", 215-pound receiver. Maybe 220. And he runs a 4.4. He's going to run a 4.4. I'm telling you that right now. He needs to solidify his route running a little bit. But this is a guy that came on from nothing to all of a sudden this year. People are like, whoa, this is going to be a first-round pick. I don't know if he's going to be a first-round pick. I wanted to put him in here to talk about him a little bit, and that's, again, why Rome Odunze is not there. But this is a freak athlete, and you got Zay Flowers there already. This is a guy that does stuff a little bit differently than Zay Flowers, and he's kind of more of a bigger body receiver. So wanted to give him that. Think of like an A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf type. Somewhere in that realm is what he can be. I'm not saying that's what he is, because those are two really, really good receivers in this league. That's what he can be. He could also be a Treylon Burks. You think about Treylon Burks, it's kind of in that realm. Treylon Burks, DK Metcalf, and A.J. Brown, he's somewhere in there. He might be below Treylon, but I think he's somewhere in between there. All right, going to 32, we got the Eagles. They need DB help. This defense, this offense. You could go with offensive line for Lane Johnson or a replacement for Kelsey, but I'm going to go with Tyler Nubin. He deserves to be in the first round. Let's put him in the first round. That's my mock draft. Go ahead and let me know what picks you disagree on, and let's have some discourse in the comment section. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Go ahead and leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Peace, 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 peace.